I think there are layers that need to be looked at here. There is a hardcore that we cannot move at this point, and they are armed, and they are racist to the core. But I think that there are a lot of other people who are distraught, confused, frustrated, alienated. I mean, my PhD work was in religion, and I studied cults, and I see a lot of this cult thing playing out. I mean, I worked with the Father Divine group in Philadelphia. You know, it'd be 70-year-old ladies who you'd go to them and say, I want to interview you. And they'd say, aren't I young? Aren't I beautiful? Because Father Divine taught them that if they avoided sex, they would always stay young and they'd never get old and they'd never get sick. And they believed it.
Question, was it only sex with him that he would allow? Because that feels like where this is headed.
No one. With no
okay.
one.
Okay.
No
he
one.
sounds like he knows how to talk to women, though. I mean, honestly.
And when Father Divine died after marrying Miss Canada, they wouldn't admit that he died. So they kept his chair empty at the table and they continued to talk to the empty chair. But it was a cult and people believed it. There is something similar going on here. There's a cult-like adoration of the leader and the belief in what the leader says, what causes cult worship. I mean, when I get out of work in Washington, when I used to get out of work in Washington, when there was work in Washington, on the corner of Connecticut and K, there'd be a guy with a bullhorn. And he'd be, you know, come convert, come be saved. If you don't be, you know, you're going to die, whatever. Everybody'd be walking past them and ignoring them. A lesson in this, never listen to the guy who's speaking. Look at the people who are following. If people stopped and gathered around him, then I'd say, I want to talk to them and say, why are you listening to this crap?
Yeah.
So the question is not Trump. The question is, how did he find a following? What is it in the social, political, and economic dislocation that has caused these people to be so desperate that they're willing to believe this alternate reality, believe these lies, put their lives at risk to go to a rally like you were talking about before, right? What is it there that's going on? We've got to understand that. And I believe that many of them can be pulled away if we solve the problem. First place to solve the problem is beat him so badly on Tuesday that some folks would just wake up and say, oh, where was I? What was I doing the last 4 years?
Yeah, I'm on the winning team. I always...
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people, when Trump dies, they'll redirect their loyalty to Ivanka? Because I've heard that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cultivate her and make her like his
or will
heir.
it just be an empty chair?
That would be preferable, actually. But I don't think that it's transferable. Mussolini wasn't transferable. Hitler wasn't transferable. Beat his ass and they'll go home.
So it dies with him.
I think it actually does. I mean, he is a unique historical character. His pathologies are so pronounced.
Yeah.
His, you know, this is the perfect storm. The country is in distress, and this very diseased figure comes along. His children, as diseased as they are far too healthy to be able to pull off the stunt that he has going.